The Marc Guzman Podcast Experience.
Hello, everyone. I am back to podcasting. It's been a long 7 to 8 months since my last episode. So for a lot of you that have been listening to the podcast this entire time I've been on break, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support and the downloads. It's been very awesome to see some of the community continuing to listen to some of the old episodes. I do have well over 300 episodes on the podcast, so there's plenty for you to enjoy and listen. So 2020 has been a very, very weird year for everyone. Pandemic, stock market crash and recovery, and really just many businesses unfortunately being shut down. And it's been a crazy, crazy ride, 2020. It's forced our company, BG Asset Management, to really adapt. When COVID hit, it was a very uncertain time period. We had to make some quick changes. We had to adapt. We had to learn how to do business a completely different way, simply navigating the waters. But I think we've done a very good job, and we've gotten to a point where we are now in the top 10% of management companies nationwide. And so it's been a pretty big accomplishment for us to do this. And we've had a lot of recent growth in the last couple of months. But one thing I would like to do is maybe get into an later episode where I do a deep dive into the details of what our company did to survive and how we adapted to the 2020 pandemic in order to get ourselves in the top 10% of our industry. So that's definitely something on my radar, which will be coming up in the coming months. So look out for that episode. What I want to do today is talk about Prop 19. So we just had a recent election. California had various propositions on the ballot. Prop 19 was one of them. And there is a lot of confusion when it comes to Prop 19. There are people that still do not understand what it is, even though they voted in favor of it. So just to break it down, Prop 19 passed, or it's projected to pass with about a 51.5% approval rating in California. This is called the Property Tax Transfers, Exemptions, and Revenue for Wildfire Agencies and Counties Amendment. It's a big name, but again, there's still a lot of confusion, even though it's passed, as to what exactly this does. If you remember Prop 5 from 2018 in California, this is 2.0 version of it. In 2018, Prop 5 actually failed because there was just little support, since it would cause essentially a loss in revenue for many different counties. And so there was no support of it. So Prop 19, again, it's a 2.0 version. And so I want to kind of break this down. And so I'm going to read off of Ballotpedia, which has done a great job in summarizing this proposition. There are a couple of components to it. And so this is essentially what Prop 19 does. So Prop 19 would change the rules for tax assessment transfers. Eligible homeowners in California can transfer their tax assessment to a different home of the same or lesser market value, which allows them to move without paying higher taxes. Homeowners who are eligible for this tax assessment transfer are people over the age of 55 years old, persons with severe disabilities, and victims of natural disasters such as wildfires and hazard waste contamination. The ballot measure would allow eligible homeowners to transfer the tax assessment anywhere within the state and allow tax assessments to be transferred to a more expensive home with an upward adjustment. The number of times that a tax assessment can be transferred would increase from 1 to 3 for persons over the age of 55 or with severe disabilities. Now, the big question is, how would this ballot measure affected inherited properties? And this is the other component to this. So in California, parents or grandparents can transfer primary residential residence properties to their children or grandchildren without the property tax assessment resetting to market value. Other types of properties, such as vacation homes and business properties, can also be transferred from parent to child or grandparent to grandchild, with the first $1 million exempt from reassessment when transferred. The ballot measure and the ballot measure Prop 19 eliminates the parent-to-child and grandparent-to-grandchild exemption in cases where the child or grandchild does not use the inherited property as their principal residence, such as using a property as a rental house or a second home. When the inherited property is used as a recipient's principal residence but is sold for $1 million more than the property's taxable value, an upward adjustment in assessed value would occur. The ballot measure would also apply these rules to certain farms. And beginning February 16th of 2023, the $1 million amount would be adjusted each year at a rate equal to the change in the California House Price Index. So this measure, so those are the two major components. You've got the tax reassessment, the tax assessment being able to transfer to property up to 3 times if you're over the age of 55. And you have the component of inherited properties that if the child or grandchild keeps a property as a personal residence, they get to enjoy the same Prop 13 tax basis that their parent or grandparent had. Once it's converted to a rental property or a second home or a vacation home, it gets reassessed. So here's an example. A senior citizen owns a home worth $700,000, but they bought it for $250,000 in 1995. Their property tax is approximately $3,125 per year. They want to sell and move to a different part of California to be closer to family or a hospital or for some other reason. Without Prop 19, if they sell and buy another home for $700,000, they would pay about $8,750 per year. This would be an extra cost of $5,625 per year on their retirement income. For many people, that's significant. So with Prop 19, they can transfer their tax base of $3,125 to the new property. If the same person bought a home for $800,000 instead of $700,000, they would transfer their base of $3,125, but they would also have to pay the tax differential on the extra $100,000 price. That's essentially how Prop 19 is set up to work. Here's another example. If a parent transfers a property to their child and the home is worth $1 million, but the tax base is $400,000, the child will get to keep the $400,000 tax base if the property is used as a personal residence. Once a child converts the home to a second home or investment property, then the property is reassessed at the current market value. And the idea behind that is, well, if this is additional income that you're then going to receive as business income, then the idea is, well, you should also pay the reassessed tax value. And one of the reasons why this component was put into Prop 19 as the 2.0 version of Prop 5 from 2018 is because, remember, the Prop 5 from 2018 actually estimated for counties to lose money. With this new 2.0 version and this reassessment of rental property and business property, it allows counties to recapture some of that lost income. And in fact, it's going to be additional income coming to the state overall based on the estimate from the California Legislative Office. This is something that was probably going to be done anyway by the state legislature. Many of the politicians in California have been looking at this. The California Legislation Office did a report, I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago, and provided it to the California State Legislature to let them know that here's one tax vehicle that if it's changed, they can bring a lot more tax revenue into California. So it was already on the chopping block, and it was a pretty good strategy to kind of throw this into Prop 19 in order to get the support of counties, fire departments, police departments, and have this proposition pass. So that's the short breakdown of entire Prop 19. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Going forward, I am going to be doing a lot of these micro episodes that will range anywhere between 5 and 20 minutes, just hitting some very hot topics. ranging from real estate to construction to film, finance, and a variety of different topics that I'm involved in on a day-to-day basis. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Again, please subscribe and look forward to having you listen on the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed this episode, and thank you for listening to the Marc Guzman Podcast Experience. Subscribe now on Apple Podcast and Spotify for updates on the newest episodes, and give us a rating.